Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to VSL Season 6, and we are here for the first round of the season. We go to Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix. We hope you're all having a fantastic day so far, and I'm sure this race is going to be absolutely fantastic. My name is Jess, and I will be your commentator for the season, and we have quite a lot to go through before we go into the session. So a quick reminder of what the drivers will be facing this season. We've got 16 rounds, which should take us until June the 2nd, starting with tonight's race in Mexico. Then next week we head to Brazil on February 24th. Round 3 we head to Britain, and it's Baku, Spain, China, Austria, Netherlands, Belgium, Monza, Singapore, Monaco in the night time, Canada, Australia, Bahrain, and then we got the Bahrain short circuit on the last round, which I think is going to be absolutely spectacular, I have to say. And a quick reminder of the rules, in particular about what's about to happen. There's no shot qualifying. It is one shot qualifying, which means the drivers only have basically one lap to get it right. If they invalidate, that's it. They'll be put towards near the back of the grid, and that should make things very, very interesting indeed. I'll go through the 5 teams during the formation lap, because we want to try and get things done as smoothly as we possibly can, and we are about to head to the track to find out what the weather is. So a little bit of information about the track before we head to the formation lap. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez sits over 2 kilometers above sea level, and it's a 4.3 kilometer lap. It has 17 turns, 7 to the left and 10 to the right. 3 DRS zones, 1 between the start finish straight, which is a very long one, 1 between turn 3 and 4, and then 1 near the S's between turn 11 and 12. I think that's going to be the main overtaking opportunities today. So let's move to the track, the lobby at the moment, and we've got pretty much majority of drivers in the lobby, which is great to see. And I wonder who the game is going to pick us for us to go on board. There is Lee again, and I'm going to go on board with someone else because I went on board with Lee last week, and I'm going to try and vary with someone different each week. Luckily, it's someone different this week, so that is good news. So I'm going to stick with that. And for those of you that are wondering as well, the liveries are going to be based on the colours that their team is representing. So I'll be going through, like I said, going through all the teams a little bit later on. But let's go on board with a hot lap with Risky as he heads towards turn number 1, clipping that left apex there. And I have to say, there probably is going to be quite a lot of invalidations around this circuit, because it is a penalty central track, just like the USA was last week. And if you missed the test race, what a test race it was. It was absolutely fantastic. But carrying on with the hot lap, and you're heading towards, I think it's around turn 7. And now you're going to be heading towards the S's coming up now. It resembles like Suzuka and Maggots and Beckett's as well, quite a few things. Your anti-roll bar, I would almost definitely say, will be tested around this circuit. Some people will be taking it a little bit more cautiously due to the fact that they get one shot to get it right. Now you're going to be heading towards the stadium section of turn 12. It used to be the fearsome Paradelada, but that corner was far too dangerous for modern F1 cars. So now you're going to head towards the final couple of corners. And let's see what Risky can do. Well, Mata is on pole, but Risky's laps for 1:16.1, but at least he got a lap in, and I actually went on board with someone for the whole lap. So that's an achievement in itself. And don't forget, Mata was last season's champion, and he's looking to get his season off to a great start. He has already, with pole position. Carl in P2 wasn't here at the test race last week, but I know he's going to be a very fast driver, and it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Last week's test race winner, Bankai in 3rd. I think he could challenge a lot. Red Matt in 4th, Iceman in 5th, Ryan Berry 6th. We got Brandon in 7th, Yuri in 8th, Acorn in 9th. We got Brad in 10th, Niels in 11th, Risky in 12th, Newgarden in 13th, Kevin 14th, and we got 4 disqualifications. We got Pete, Ahmed, Gavin, and Lee Tut, who have had invalidations. Quite less than I thought that they would have invalidated. It's a fair play to them. I thought more people would invalidate it, but I'm guessing they wanted to keep their cool. So we're going to go through some teams now. These guys have been... It is chucking it down in Mexico. Wow, that's pretty incredible, I have to say. I was hoping it's not going to do that, but unfortunately it has. But before we do that, let's go through all the teams. So each team have each team has a team captain, and they had a draft on Friday, and they were going through to see which drivers they wanted in their team. So we'll start with Team Red. We got Kev as the captain. We got Ahmed, Newgarden, and Ryan Berry in the team, and they're going to be having red in their livery. VSL Blue, we got Carl as the team captain. We got Ryan, Speed Risky, and Brad Giles along with the Rise joining Team Blue as well. Now that's a very good lineup, I have to say. Yellow, we've got Pete, Speed Knighton as the team captain. Speed Iceman, Bankai, and Lee joining him alongside in VSL Yellow. In VSL Green, we got the champion Matter as the team captain. We got Acorn, 95, Logan, and Dave joining along for the ride. Obviously, not everyone is here tonight. And finally, we have VSL Pink, which is Brandon as a team captain. And then we got Red Matt, Yuri, and Niels. So there we go. Those are your teams for the season. And they'll be fighting for the Teams Championship as well as the Drivers' Championship as well. So we're going to go back to the track now. They were supposed to give me 2 minutes, but they didn't. I think there was someone that readied up too early. Tut tut. But anyway, we're here now, so let's get cracking. So most of them obviously match up with their team colours, and they're all on the wet tyres. So I think it's going to be rain for the whole race, but I will check with that just to be sure. But we've got Mato in its green livery. Then we got Carl in blue, looking nice. Bankai in the yellow colours. Red Matt with blue. Oh, Red Matt looks pretty cool. Iceman. To be honest, when Iceman showed me his livery in the chat, I was a big fan. A really big fan. So fair play to him. Ryan Berry with his livery is, I think he was having the same as last week. Brandon with lovely pink livery with a bit of blue ting to it. Looking really cool, actually. Wow, I like that. Yuri as well. It's hard to see in the... It's hard to really see in the wet, but yeah, that looks pretty cool as well. Acorn with a bit of green, obviously. Brad Giles in blue. And then we got Niels Risky, who's left the session. Hopefully, he can come back very, very soon. And then we got Kev, Pete, Ahmed, Gavin, and Lee. So, those were all your liveries, guys. Let us know what you think about those liveries. So, it is predicted to be a one-stop race with the wet tyres, but I'm almost certain the wets are not going to make it one stop, so I'm assuming it's going to be two-stop. Now, the rules are the top 3 of every race will have to two-stop. Now, since it's the first race, no one's on a two-stop, but it's probably likely going to be happening anyway. The 5 red lights are on. And it is lights out, they're very good. It's a good start from both Mato and Carl. Don't forget it's going to be a very long towards turn 1. Good start from Mato as well, and Iceman, as they all made their way. A lot of spray from the cars as well, which is going to be very tricky for the drivers to see. Yes, Carl getting a mega run, as well as Matt. They go side by side into a very steery corner, I have to say, but Carl takes the lead in the first couple of corners. We got some yellow flags. We got Lee that spinned it as well. Newcon, I think, dropped a few positions. But apart from that, I think everybody seems to be A-OK. Mato has dropped a few positions, but he's back up into 5th position. Now, this rain is coming down really, really hard. It's kind of like monsoon. And sometimes it does bring out a safety car with these heavy conditions. But they got to just be more aware compared to the dry. You're more than likely going to get penalties. So the less penalties you get, the better. As Gavin has made his way past Pete, and he's up into 12th position in the race so far. And we can already see that the gap that Carl is bringing in already. 1.5 seconds over Red Matt in second. Iceman is 4 tenths behind that. Meanwhile, Yuri and Brad going side by side in the stadium section. Rye Racer is in on the inside. And we've got Brad getting the cut back very nicely indeed. And Brad is up into 8th position. Niels as well having a battle with Bankai. Bankai, don't forget, started 3rd. And I believe he's all the way down into 11th or 5th. I'm not entirely sure. Nobody's in 5th, so he's dropped down a few positions. Is unfortunately the timing glitch playing havoc with us. So apologies about that. Hopefully it does sort itself out. Pete is already up into 6th position, so he's had a good start. As we've got no, actually no, it's not Pete up into 6th. Yeah, it is the timings having a little bit of a hissy fit. So it is Carl still leading though in the first. So the more points your team score, of course, the better it becomes for your team as well. Because these drivers are all running multiplayer cars. So the engine sounds will be the same. We've got Matta around the back of Brandon. Rivals last season. I think I'm probably expecting them to be rivals this season as well. And there is a variety of tracks on the calendar which could test the drivers. The one I'm especially looking forward to is Brandon has hit. Well, I think Brandon and Matt hit each other. Matta has unfortunately reset the track. I don't think you're meant to do that, but that was very unlucky. That might have been that he couldn't see. But Matta has now dropped down to 9th, and that's a first example of commentators cursing the stream. And he's gone for a little bit more of a spin. So he's going to go into the pits now. What a shame for him. He was running so well as well. But let's catch back the battles. I think the closest battles between Ahmed and Gavin. Ahmed is just a few attempts, but I think it's even moved more crucial to get close in the wet. Bankai is trying to make up for lost time as Yuri has had a bit of a moment, a bit of a slide there. He's dropped down to 13th. That's now Gavin and Ahmed past him now. I don't think he's picked up any damage though, so he could definitely find enough time and gain enough time back. I'm almost certain to say. As 4 attempts now is the gap for Ryan Berry and Acorn now. Now, Acorn was doing very well, picking up less penalties than everybody else and in the test race last week, and that helped him. And he was involved in a 4-car battle last week. And if you did not see it, please check out my Twitter at JessGames95. Cheeky plug, but yeah, it was just probably one of the best battles I've ever seen in commentary, and I still remember it. And I do remember that it was a very speechless moment, I have to say. So I wonder if we'll get any more speechless moments this season. Probably will, as it's hard to check the numbers. The 22 car of Ryan Berry can't quite get the speed he needs to get past Acorn for now, but he knows he's going to catch up, I think, sector after sector in this lap. No DRS because of this heavy weather. And my question is, will the rain start to get lighter, or will it stay exactly as it is? We'll have to find out later on. Now, according to the game, well, the Twitter chat, Risky's game has crashed, which is very annoying. So that's why he's running as an AI at the moment. And New Garden also had to pit a lap ago, as well as Matta. So, you know, we got 3 teams at the back. So at least it's not 3 of the same team, but we got, looks like we got a all blue, VSL blue, 1-2 at the moment. So I wonder if team orders will be put into play. Yes, I go on board with someone that disconnects and game crashes. It's not me, it's the game. I just go with what the game goes, unless I've been on a hot lap with them before, and it happened to be you, Risky. So, I'm sorry. It's just the hot lap curse. I think that's what I'm going to call, I think, from now on. Anyway, Pete now goes into the pits. Has he got damage? Yes, it looks like he's got damage. He's onto the intermediate tyres. Interesting. Don't think it's good for intermediates yet. I think it's still full wets at the moment, unless I'm seeing things differently. But it's a bit better than it was at the start of the race. So it's probably getting a bit better, but it might just be my eyes deceiving me a little bit. Anyway, Yuri and Ahmed going for a bit of a scrap again. Yuri's now up into 11th place. And just a quick reminder, what points these drivers get. It's kind of different to the normal point system, because the top 12 get points, so more of an incentive for the drivers to not give up. So first place gets 25 points, second place gets 20, third place gets 18, fourth place gets 15, fifth place gets 12, sixth place gets 10th place, 10 points, and Iceman goes into the pits as well, so quite a bit of front wing damage, unless it's just a scheduled stop, and it is a scheduled stop, so the inters it goes, so it may be the right time for the intermediate tyres. Anyway, so 6th place gets 10 points, 7th place gets 8 points, 8th place gets 6 points, and it's 5 for up to 10, and then 11th place gets 2 points, and 12th place gets 1 point. And I have been told I needed to invite Risky, but someone else has done that because they won the pits. I think I should have invited when you disconnected, but I was so in awe of the start, to be honest. As Risky's been stuck in the pits for quite a bit. Luckily he's back. So he could come back into this because he's pitted for the Inters. So his race is far from over. And yeah, I have to say, there is a bit of standing wars, which is going to be harder for the intermediate tyres. But I think, yeah, I would say in some parts of the circuit, it's all right for the intermediate tyres. So when will the front lot pit? Let us know your predictions in chat of what you think as well. Don't forget, this is 50% race distance, 36 laps. We've already done 6 of them. We're on lap 7 now. So we've got 30 laps to go. Brandon's in the pit, so it's Kyle. Red Matt stays out. Actually, no, Red Matt goes in. I thought it was Akon that stayed out, my bad. But anyway, basically the front 3 have pitted. Akon, Niels and Bankai have decided to stay out. And I don't think it's the smartest move, but we'll have to wait and see. So Carl still comes out in front with Red Matt and Net P2, I think. Brandon, basically it's going to be the same order as it was before, as the majority of everybody's pretty much going into the pits, even the ones that pitted for damage. And I wonder if some of them should have waited until... But I think some of them got major damage that they could have not pit, otherwise they would have had to retire and they would have lost a lot of time. So, for some of them, if it was a few people doing the mandatory 2-stop this week, they would have done it already. But no one's doing it this week. The top 3 from this race will be doing it from next week onwards. So this is, I think, a chance that we get to see everybody doing the planned 1-stop strategy, even though for some of them it's going to be more than 1 stop, if the conditions are like what it is. So 9/10 now is the gap between Niels and Akon. Niels is looking, Niels is looking, I think, a little bit more quicker compared to his rivals, as Akon has gone off. Niels to the inside, or the right-hand side. They both go into the pits. Akon gets a 3-second time penalty. That's weird, to get a 3-second time penalty like that. Actually, it's a 5-second that he got as well for speeding in the pit lane. So Carl's going to come in the lead with Red Matt in second, but where are the other drivers that have left it an extra lap going to do it. I wonder if the undercut is powerful than it is. We'll have to find out. So Acorn comes out in 6th position. So we're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers that have time penalties to their name. And like I said, it can definitely play a massive factor to whether you gain a lot of points or you don't. Do not worry, after this race there will be 15 rounds to go. So plenty of chances for people to make an impression out on track. And I think a lot of these drivers as well will find a bit more of their rhythm as the race goes on, as Pete and Gavin going side by side there. Almost made contact, but Gavin just has the edge there. Gavin now up into 10th, Pete in 11th, but don't forget P11 and 12 also gets points as well. So no hard feelings, but I know these guys very well. They want to race for as many points as they possibly can. And number 66 car is trying to gain some more traction, I would say, in the corners. And we're starting to see more people get faster lap. Everybody's on the inters now. And we've got Yuri and Ahmed. They were fighting. I think Ahmed was making a bit of a mistake there. I'm not entirely sure, but that's lost him a bit of time. He's lost, I think, about a few tenths in that sector. So that's allowed Yuri to climb back a little bit. And this has brought, I would say, Risky back just ever so slightly. Safety cars is on, so most of these guys near the bottom are going to hope for a safety car for them to be brought back into the mix again, because otherwise they're going to be in huge trouble. I think the closest battle we have on circuit is we've got a three-way fight for P6. We've got Akon in green, Niels in pink, and Bankai in yellow. And Bankai, a driver that you would expect to be high up near the front, but the weather sometimes seems to shake things up a bit for the drivers. Sometimes drivers are not good in the wet, but they're very good in the dry, which means that if there's more wet races, it could definitely bring spanner in the works in terms of the championship. You've got to take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Now, interesting fact about Mexico, it's been held 20 times in this circuit since 1963, most recently returning to the F1 calendar in 2015. The first Mexican Grand Prix was held back in 1962. And yes, pretty cool there. And Max Verstappen became the first driver in 2018 to win the Mexican Grand Prix in consecutive years as well. And Lewis Hamilton was the only driver to win it twice. And somehow Red Matt is picking up the pace a bit. You saw how Kyle was having a little bit more dominance in the full wet. Now is the inters. It's now, I think I would say, Red Matt's chance to fight back. You never know. Kyle could be less strong in his inters, but you will have to wait and see the two Titans battling it out for P1 and 2. If these stay as they are, as Red Matt's picked himself a 3-second time penalty. If things stay as they are, though, Kyle, Red Matt, and Iceman will be the ones who will have to do the two-stop strategy next week when we head to Brazil. But to be honest, doing a two-stop strategy in Brazil is not too bad, so it's actually quite fun. But we'll see what happens, of course. Red Matt dropped a bit of time on Kyle there in the final straight as well. Not relatively close battles. I think because of the dirty air and the wetness, they just can't get past at the moment. And I shouldn't have said wetness, but there we go. As Iceman's picked himself a time penalty. Is Bankai a little bit closer? Nope, he's not this time. And I think these guys were relying on DRS a lot around this track, to be honest. When I've been practicing for Mexico this week, I've been relying on DRS a lot too. And I've got a league race on it this week. And I'm absolutely worried about it because I'm not strong around this circuit. But at least it gives us a taster of what these heavy conditions are like. And you never know. I'm going to make a prediction here, guys. And I know some of you may disagree with me, but I think it's going to dry up. I think it's going to dry up later on. Because you can see a little bit of blue sky peeping out. You see the conditions could get better. That is my prediction. And hopefully I won't make any more jinxes, I promise. As we're already on lap number 12. And there's an interesting fact as well that Lewis Hamilton has been the only driver that's won the title here twice. It is the first round of this VSL Championship, so there'll be no title deciders, obviously, but you can also let us know in chat where you think the title will be decided. So here we got Niels by the looks of things. Yes, Niels on the back of Acorn. These three have been fighting, I think, for quite a lot of laps now. And I think Niels is getting the better run now as Brandon has left the session. I don't have him as a friend, so I can't invite him, unfortunately. But that's what I'll probably try and do, and all these people. So if I do need to invite, I will invite them. But anyway, Niels to the inside. He goes and he's up into 6th, looking quite impressive in the pink car. And I think Acorn is struggling a bit on the inters, trying to keep the tyres under control. And I think that's what's allowing Bankai to catch up. And Bankai just picked himself, I think it was another 3-second time penalty. So a bit of an update of what the penalties are at the moment. There's quite a lot, actually. As Ahmed has just got past Roy Racer, Willie. They're fighting back. Ahmed looks like he got the longer line. And it worked out for him as well. Bankai and Acorn are going at it. And I had a feeling Bankai was going to have the edge there. And I think Acorn will definitely, I'm almost certain, will have to improve on his time management. But that's something that you'll get better in future races as more penalties are showing. You can see it on your screen. Just so for those of you that are aware, luckily Brandon had a spare invite, so he was able to join. That is good news. I think what I will do is because Risky's the host, I will send multiple invites to him next week. Because he doesn't get invites, I don't think. So, yeah, I'll send him backup invites, Risky. Do not worry. Anyway, so that will allow Brandon to go back in the picture, even though I hope Brandon joins soon, because otherwise Niels is going to go right past him, and I want to see them fight to the death, really. I want this to be a really good scrap, but Risky's out of the session. He's retired, and I believe that's a safety car. Yes, it is a safety car, and you can see where he's binned it, so Risky has unfortunately had bad luck, and it's the second week in a row where the guy that I've commentated on a hot lap has done a rubbish race, has had a rubbish race. So, apologies in advance, but at least he doesn't have to do the 2-stop strategy next week. He can do the 1-stop. So, will some of these guys, I think majority of these guys are going to be staying out for track position. It's annoying that the safety car thing does not pop up unless you to see the map or the boards. It's happened quite a few times on this game. Many more in this game than the last game, which to be honest is very annoying. But it happens. So obviously a lot of these guys will have to keep the delta now. Carl, Redman and Iceman have caught up to the safety car now. Well, Iceman's almost caught up to the safety car. And I would say the safety car is going to be on track for a few laps to allow everybody to catch up. And there hasn't been many safety cars, I believe, around Mexico in real life. And there was actually a big crash in 91. He turned up to the event with stitches in his head following a jet ski incident. And then during qualifying, he attempted to take the stadium section faster than usual and crashed violently. And the rare mistake caused McLaren to spin off and roll before coming to a stop after hitting a tyre barrier. And he still went on to finish third that race. So it just shows, never give up. And I didn't know this, but Risky's actually on the pad because his wheel is messed up at the moment. So, oof. So, hopefully you get your wheel back soon, my friend, because, yeah, that's awful. I can't imagine racing on a pad. I can't go back to a pad again, and I know a few of these drivers have been contemplating it as well. Would you ever go back to a pad after racing so many years or months in a wheel? And Ahmed has made a huge mistake there. I don't think he was meant to go on to the hard tyres. I think that's a huge bottle for Ahmed in the chat. Get the S in the chat for him. That'll be great. But he's going to struggle a lot. I don't think he was meant to do that. I think that's a strong indication. He must have picked up damage during the safety car. He had the dry tyres ready for the possible dry stint, and I had a feeling it's going to get better anyway. It is already getting better. So my predictions are starting to come true. So in a way, that's a good thing. But it's a bad thing for Ahmed as he'll have to pit again for the Inters. Big mistake for him. But at least it's a safety car period, so no harm is lost. So he has to come in for the intermediate tyres, and he is going on to the right ones this time. Let's follow him and see if he does. Let's hope it's not on a set of hards. It is Inters. Good news. So look, it's like 2 red cars in at 16th and 17th. Not looking good for the red team. Obviously, not all 20 drivers are here tonight. So again, that puts some teams at a disadvantage. And due to a couple of people pitting, they'll have to... Well, the safety car, I think, will have to stay a little bit longer. But I think it's after 3 or 4 laps that if you don't catch up to the safety car, then that's it, tough. I know at the end of the race, if it's the safety car happens at the end of the race, that you have to have at least 2 laps of green flag running. I believe, or was it 1? I'm not entirely sure. But let's hope we do not get any more safety cars. But you can see it's getting better. So I don't think these guys will be on the intermediate tyres for much longer. And this is an epic race, I have to say. That the first race has had everything. It's had a dry quali, it's had a safety car, it's had full wet conditions at the start. Now it's on Inters, and then potentially it's going to dry up to a full dry end to the race. I'm liking this. To be honest, changing conditions races I definitely like the best, because they have to go with their gut feeling. You don't know what the strategy is going to be. It's a bit of a toss, really, on what the drivers are going to do. And sometimes you don't know whether it's the right one. So sometimes I get a bit confused, as someone has, I believe, picked up a 5-second time penalty. And I was right. The safety car is in this lap, and Carl is going to be the effective safety car. There's a few people are overtaking people in the safety car. I don't think you're meant to do that. I do believe you get a penalty for that. I think the game enforces it. Not entirely sure. But only one way to find out. So, what type of restart will Kyle be doing? We shall see. Obviously, when he goes faster, he can't go any slower. He has to keep at a constant pace. That's the most important thing. So here he goes then. He's underway, and that's a very good restart from him. Renmat as well. The top two are running away with it. Also Iceman and Kev howling about. But look at this. Ryan Berry just caught the both of them, and Brandon could catch up with them as well. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Ryan Berry. And I do believe Brandon has not joined back from the session yet, which has not helped him. Iceman has got position back. But Ryan Berry, what a brilliant restart from him to kick off his campaign in style as well. And let's see what's happening later on in the field as well. Bankai trying to make up position as well, going side by side with Niels. He's potentially going to be looking to get 6th position. Could this be another position gained for the yellow car? Maybe not though. I do believe Brandon's back. Yes, Brandon is back. I think he waited until the safety car restart, because otherwise it would have caused a lot of trouble. But an Iceman, I'm looking at Iceman's penalties as well. 11 seconds. These drivers have got to be careful with picking up penalties, because otherwise most of these guys are going to find themselves being disqualified, and you definitely do not want that. So I think Carl is trying to find the gap to Red Mat again. And please bear in mind that potentially then we'll have to pit again. And it stopped raining. I believe it stopped raining. That's come a lot quicker than I thought. But obviously the track is still damp, so they're still going to be on those inches for quite a bit. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, and like I predicted at the start of the race, we are going to get some dry running. And I can't wait. What will the drivers go on to? Now, looking at the data that I have in front of me, the softs could only last 13 laps. So to make it effective, the best tyre to be on would be the mediums. Because I would say, I'm just looking at, I think they would have to pit lap 20 to go onto the mediums, otherwise they'll have to go on the hards. But I don't think it's going to dry out that quickly. So, and in order to go on to the softs, they would have to pit lap 24 or 23, if my maths is correct. So, interestingly there. And also looking at the deltas as well between the tyres is quite significant around this circuit in the dry. 1.2 seconds is the difference between the softs and the mediums, and the hard is about 1.7 seconds between the softs and the hards, and about 5 or 6 tenths between the mediums and the hards. So let's see then. Ryan Berry again is doing fantastic. Has Iceman pit damage, or is he going for the gamble and going for the dry tyres? I do believe Iceman is serving his stop go penalty, and he's going on to the hards already. How's the track dry? It's too early, but I'm guessing there was, I think, damage limitation for him, so he had no other choice. But it's just too damp. There's still spray coming out of the tyres. It's definitely not enough to justify going onto the dry tyres. So he's probably made a mistake, but he's got to live with it. Maybe he'll think he'll dry out quickly in a lap's time, but personally I don't think it will. It differs, I think, as well from lobby to lobby. Sometimes the rain dries up pretty quickly. You can go straight onto the dry tyres. Sometimes it takes a while, just like I think it's doing today. So looking at the position gains then for everybody. So Carl has gained 1 after that incredible start at the start. Red Mat's gained 2. Ryan Berry's gained 3, so has Brandon. Niels has been the biggest gainer so far. He has gained 6 positions. So he's on a roll at the moment in the pink car. And maybe he could be a dark horse when these conditions come in maybe future races. Bankai has dropped down 3. Akon's dropped down 2. Pete has gained 7. So I think with the safety car and the intermediate conditions, it brought him back to contention as Yuri has left the session. But that means I think Newgarden catches up very quickly. So it looks like there's been a bit of an issue with people's internet today, which is not good. Hopefully that doesn't correspond to me as well, because hopefully I won't get disconnected. But looks like, luckily Yuri has joined. Pete has, I think, found significant time to Akon, and like I said, when Akon was being chased by likes of Brandon and Bankai earlier on today, there was no way that Akon could hold them up. They got past, and I think the same's going to happen to Pete as Akon's out the race. What has happened there? I did not quite see that, but oh goodness, do we have another safety car? Oh, no, it's a VSC this time. I'm relieved it's not a full safety car, because otherwise what the hell would I be talking about? But that was a nasty incident, and looking I just about caught a glimpse of that, and that VSC is allowing people to go in the pit. So Ryan Berry's in, Brandon is in as well. So they both go in for the dry tyres, and again, I still think it's early, but I think there may be some parts of the track where it's dried up completely. So sometimes you have to take the gamble. So there we go. He's on the medium, so is Brandon. So let's get the tyres up quickly. Only 3 drivers on the dry tyres. I think Iceman seems to be struggling. The track is still slippery, but I think he's going to lose more time if he pits again. He might get lapped. So I think what's best for him is to deal with the conditions that's been thrown at him. Like this straight here. This straight here is completely dry, but when you get to certain parts of the track, it's very wet as well. So it's going to be very hard to judge. And if they get it absolutely right, it could be the difference to either gaining points or losing points. And maybe this race could be the one that's talked about, that the drivers get bad results, and that could effectively what loses it for them. But the top 2 are basically running away with it all. Meanwhile, we've got Bankai that's 1.7 seconds behind Niels. Pete's still winning a second. And we have got to keep an eye on the DRS enabled. Once we see the DRS enabled, that will be our sign. We'll be like, right, these guys will need to pit, but sometimes it comes at the wrong time for them, so they got to go with their gut judgment. And you're seeing people are gaining more time than other people, so we're seeing who is shining more during the crossover period. Looks like P is doing very, very well, and he's actually catching up to his teammate. Bankai is having a very good comeback as well in 4th position. Bankai is on 13 lap on all the inters though. He has pushed those inters for a very long time. Same with Niels, Red Matt and Kyle. And I do believe the intermediate conditions last the same time as the medium tyres, so 17 laps, and for some of the time they were stuck winning safety cars, so potentially they could push these tyres until whether the track feels dry enough to go onto the dries. We're heading towards lap 23 though. When will be the right time for them? Some people made the gamble, it did not pay off. Newgarden has already got past Ryan Berry, and you can see that Ryan Berry is probably also sliding all over the place. Same with Brandon as well in 12th, but there's still quite a bit of this race to go. Anything can happen. There still could be more people that make mistakes, as we got Gavin, I think, want to take advantage of the situation as well. You can see this bit is really dry, so that's where Gavin could struggle, and that's where Ryan Berry could gain more traction, but still, Gavin to the left-hand side he goes, and that's him off a place. Brad is now into 11th as well. And yeah, you can see I think some of these guys will have to make do, and even if some of their rivals pit now, they're going to be nowhere near the front, which is a shame. But it opens up the door for some people, I have to say as well. Good job to Lee in 7th position. I do believe he started near the back of the grid as well. So he's having a very good race so far. He's had an unfortunate start, but to be honest, sometimes you need to have a look. And the DRS, is enabled. That will give the sign for people to pick. Carl comes in. Red mat goes in. These guys have got to go in now. No question about it. There we go. And I think everybody, you can, I think, go on the softs, but they will be at the 70% range very quickly. So, but it does depend on if you get stuck in a lot of battles. So I think it's going to be quite a mixture of strategies, which will last until the end of this Grand Prix. So we've got Carl, Red Matt, Matter, Pete, Niels, Lee, Yuri, on the mediums, and Bankai, the only one on the softs. Will many more people go onto the soft tyres? We'll find out as Newgarden comes into the pits as well. Gavin as well, Brad. Yeah, everyone comes in now. So Ryan and Brandon's going to be in the top 10, only just, but they're not going to catch up to top 5, which is a bit of a shame, but it happens. They go onto the mediums as well. And Kev is going to be the last driver, the pits, and is on to the soft tyres. So only 2 people on the softs, and they're both, actually I thought they were in the same team, but it looks like they're different teams. So but I'm sure some of the teams will be communicating with each other, and some people might be trying one strat out, some people may be trying another. And I think due to the fact that it is dry now, I think the more prone it is going to be for penalties to be thrown out left, right and centre. So that's going to be a bit of a shame. And fair play to Carl, Matter, Brandon, Ryan Berry and Newgarden for not picking up any penalties at all. And I believe Newgarden has picked up one, so that's him, commentator's curse there. So apologies to Newgarden, but we will see. And I think the only people to watch out for, I think, is between Brad, Iceman and Ahmed, chasing down Gavin. That could be very, very intriguing indeed. DRS will be enabled. Here comes Iceman then. To the right-hand side. Brad, I don't think he's challenging now, or would he? Heading towards turn 1. Lee picks himself a time penalty, but yeah, I don't think Brad challenging him now. I think I have a feeling that Iceman is quicker on the straights. It may be down to the setup, but this time, Brad now, I thought Brad will get the DRS, but he does not. That is, I think, intriguing to say the least, but Brad, I think, is going to try with the cut back side by side again. Needs such a little bit. This might have hindered Brad a little bit. Ahmed's back in the picture now, because even though he's got a penalty, 9 seconds worth of penalty he has got, will he want to get that position back? We'll have to find out. And for those of you that are liking the action so far, don't forget to click the subscribe button to VSL and turn notifications on, so you know you do not miss every stream then as well. And like this video as well. That'll be amazing. As I've just got a few things to deal with in the chat as well, because there's some very interesting things going on. But Brad almost had the move again on Ahmed, but couldn't quite do it this time. I need to think a little bit too further back. to do it. And Luke said he subscribed, so thank you very much, Luke. And Brad has picked himself up another time penalty. And like I said, not much happening at the front, but a lot happening at the back. And where Iceman has just track extended, I think it's a common place to track extend, because I've done that quite a lot. I remember I was racing a 24-hour race. I think the majority of the penalties and warnings I picked up were there. Like, I don't know why it's just so easy to pick it up there. I don't think, like, most people, I think, got time penalties that race as well. So, what is Iceman gonna do? Heading towards turn 1 on Gavin. He's not close enough this time. He's lost a bit of time, I believe. But that's allowing, I think, Ahmed and Brad just to fight a little bit more. Brad now has a DRS. Can't quite catch him. Neither can Ahmed on Iceman, though. The gap now is starting to come into fruition. And even the gap at the front is closing down now. So has Carl made a mistake, I wonder? Or has Red Matt really gained pace on those medium tyres? He's got the DRS though. Not quite close enough, like I said. But he could probably get them soon, as there was a little bit of a lock up there from Red Matt. But no hard feelings for him. He's still chasing on, and I think VSL Blue are going to be very happy with their team's performance today. With both Kyle and Red Matt. Actually, no, it's not Blue 1-2, sorry, because obviously Red Matt's not in Team Blue. Red Matt, I believe, is in Team Pink. Yes, I was wrong about that. I thought it was a Blue 1-2, but it's not. It's very hard because Red Matt's main livery is blue, so I thought he was blue. Something I have to get used to. Don't blame me. Anyway, 8 tenths now down the straight. I think it'll be a few tenths now, but looking back at the battle for P12, Gavin to the right-hand side. Iceman, I think, couldn't do anything there, but look at this. Iceman with all the speed, all the straight line speed is very crucial to carry the speed in the SS section. And now, heading towards, I believe it's turn 12. And into 13, 14, 15 and 16 now. And heading towards turn 17. This could be Iceman's chance to get a comeback on. I do believe someone has pitted, but let's ignore that. Iceman easily does it. But I have a feeling Gavin is definitely not going to give up without a fight, which is great to see. And you can see the track temperatures is increasing as well in Mexico, which means the tyre temperatures are going to be even more crucial. There's one lap 30 now, 36. And we're going to watch the battle for the leads. Heading towards turn 1. 3, sorry. I'm losing track of corners. But I think there's certain parts of the track where Red Matt is gaining. But don't forget, if Red Matt overtakes Kyle, he needs to be within 3 seconds in order to take the win, because Red Matt has got a 3-second time penalty, whereas Kyle is completely clean at the moment. Let me check Kyle's warnings. Oh, interesting. Wow. Kyle is completely clean. No warnings at all. That is amazing, I have to say. Well, and let's go on have a look at someone else who also has no penalties, but he's got he's on his final warning. So if he gets another warning, Mato will pick up a penalty. So, Mato, I think, has got to be keeping his watchful eye, I would say, on the track limits. But I know he could do it. And even if he gets one penalty now, it won't hinder him because Pete is on 6 seconds, Niels is on 9 seconds, so he could just take it easily, to be honest. And as I was saying, Mata has picked up a time penalty. As I was trying to sort out stuff with the chat as well, I kind of wish there was someone else in there to do it, but I have done it, so it's all good. As Bankai has picked himself another penalty as well, and it's very sunny now. Like, don't forget, it was very dark at the start of the race. And now it's nice and sunny. So, you know, it just could, like I said, it could all change like that. That's how interesting it is around here. A few more laps to go of this Mexican Grand Prix. As it stands, Carl, Red Matt and Bankai will be the ones on the two-stop strategy next week when we head to Brazil. Carl and Red Matt, they've been in the top two pretty much since the start of the race. They both have really good races and they haven't put a foot wrong. But I think Red Matt has lots of time to Kyle, so unless he's been saving his time now, then I think it may be too little too late, because he may not know. Actually, they do know if people have picked up penalties, because you can see it as a driver. Obviously, the nearest 5 drivers in front, well, the nearest 5 drivers around you, you will know what penalties they have got and what penalties they have not got. So that will encourage you, I think, to pick up the pace a little bit more. Everybody inside the top 8, apart from Carl, has got a penalty. And Brandon and Ryan Berry have also got some penalties as well. I've not got some penalties, sorry. Excuse me about that. And I wonder where there's going to be more moves made. Maybe between Iceman and Newgarden. I think you can see the liveries more in the dry conditions, which I think is a huge relief, to say the least. This race has been very interesting. A bit quiet in places, but very interesting in terms of strategy. And Iceman will drop down quite a bit, because Iceman has got the most penalties out of everybody in this field. 18 seconds. But he's got he's going into the pits. He's going into the pits. So is he going to try and go for the fastest lap? And he is going for fastest lap, because you could get fastest lap anywhere on the grid. And you'll get more points by doing that than when he's staying 12th. So maybe Iceman has done the right thing there. I wonder if a lot of other people outside the top 10 are going to be thinking, right, there's no way I'm going to score points. Let's try and get the fastest lap. Well, so this is going to be crucial for Iceman. As well, to be honest, I won't be surprised if people do a similar thing, to be honest. I think Kev is doing exactly the same as well. He's on the softs. Obviously, Bankai has been on the softs for 9 laps already. Looking at the fastest laps so far, the 2 points at the moment will go to Bankai with a 1:16.7. So if it stays as it is, because obviously 3rd place gets 18 points, Bankai will get exactly the same points as what Red Matt gets this race. But due to counting back, Red Matt will be second in the standings due to the fact that Red Matt has finished second. Well, he will finish second unless penalties change things. Actually, nope, because yeah, it will say as it is, because obviously Red Matt has less penalties than Bankai. So, penultimate lap then. And I'm do noticing that some of these guys are running out of ERS very, very quickly. They had a chance to save their ERS under the safety car period. But for some of them, they're just running out, and around here, it's very costly, I have to say. And I'm seeing what Bankai's going to do. As Red Matt's struggling just a little bit, Bankai could get second on track, actually. That's allowing Kyle to pull off a massive gap, and Kyle is probably thinking, you know what? I'll keep fighting. I'll keep pushing. No, you guys keep pushing, sorry, and I'll just carry on and cruise myself to a victory. And sometimes you can't be held up in a battle, because otherwise the guys in front will start to basically just pull away, and you don't want that. As Iceman, he's the right thing of him pitting on the softs has paid off. He set the fastest lap, so he'll get 2 points. So he'll be on level points with Ryan Berry if he keeps this up. Ryan Berry's also paid the fastest lap as well, so Ryan Berry is looking to take that fastest lap away from him. That's going to be an interesting fight, I'll have to say the least, for the fastest lap. But there we go. And Kyle was driven amazing, I have to say, from start to finish. But Ryan Berry, on those fresher softs, has helped him get past Newgarden. And that is going to be the position that he's going to stay in, I think, because Brandon is about 26 seconds behind. There's no way you're going to get 26 seconds on the final lap unless Brandon does a bottle. And I don't think Brandon is going to be doing a bottle anytime soon. So let's keep on board with our race winner. Carl comes across the line. He wins the first race of VSL Season 6 in Mexico. Great job to him. Red Matt comes across the line in second. Bankai in third. Doesn't quite take fastest lap, unfortunately. Massa in fourth. Pete is going to come across the line in fifth on track, but will he stay there? We'll have to find out as Niels comes across the line. He does stay there. So great comeback drive for Pete for Team Yellow. So well done to him. Lee in seventh position. I have to say, well done to Team Yellow. They've got 3 of their 4 drivers in the top 10. And that could make the difference. Brandon in 8th, Yuri in 9th. And I think we'll have to see, if I look at fastest lap, will Ryan Berry beat Iceman's fastest lap? Because Iceman has already crossed the line. He's pushing. He's using his overtake. Has he done enough? No, he has not, unfortunately. But he is the second fastest. He's slower than Iceman by, I think, 5 tenths. So Iceman gets the fastest lap award, VSL round 1, so he gets 2 points. And I think it was worth it for Iceman to pit for those soft tyres. And in the game, Pete gets driver of the day, and I have to say, Pete was having a not a great start, but he was holding his own, I think, from the safety car until the end. He was doing a fantastic job. So, and I thought he wouldn't be challenging for the top 5 positions, but he did, and he did a good job. So one of the drivers of the days have got to go to him, and obviously Kyle with the race win. You know, he wasn't here last week, so we didn't know what his capabilities are, but we have seen you know, the car's going to be a huge threat. And one of the only 3 drivers on the field to get a penalty, not to get a penalty. So let's look at your orders. It's raining again, apparently. But anyway, Carl in first, Red Matt second, Bankai in third, Mata in fourth, Pete in fifth, Neil sixth, Lee in seventh, Brandon eighth, Yuri ninth, Ryan Berry in 10th. And we got Newgarden, Gavin, Brad, Ahmed, Iceman, Kev, Acorn, and Risky. And I think we've had 2 retirements from the Grand Prix. So that's been the Mexican Grand Prix, and to be honest, I very much enjoyed myself, and I hope you have enjoyed it too, whether you were watching this live or you were watching this back because you couldn't have watched it live. But if you want to watch it live and actually see the race for real, in real time, then you can. It'll be same time next week at 8 PM UK time on this channel. If you subscribe to VSL F1, you can keep up to date with all the streams we do. And we'll be heading to Brazil next week. The Autodromo. Oh, well, I'm not going to pronounce the circuit because I don't have it to hand. But I like Brazil. Personally, should be the final round in real life, but it's not. But it always provides some great racing and some great risks as well. So I'm very excited for that. And I think it's a driver favourite as well. But don't forget, if you're Carl, Red Matt or Bankai, they'll have to think about the 2-stop next week because the top 3, their focus is for the mandatory 2-stop next week. Will this change things up the order? We'll have to wait and see. I've been JessGames35. We hope you have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you next week in Brazil. Bye-bye.